Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and I am absolutely thrilled to be bringing you the one and only Mitch Miller, who will be flying into Austin for our Internet Marketing Party in February, all the way in from the other side of the world. He's always traveling over in Southeast Asia. So last I spoke with him, he was in Thailand. Now he's in Hong Kong or Bangkok. Where are you now, Mitch?
I was in Bangkok earlier today, but I'm in Manila right now. I got to do a talk tomorrow.
All right, so the reason you need to keep watching this presentation for the next 10, 15 minutes is that Mitch has the coolest story. He's helping folks do $1 million launches all the way from the other side of the world, living the internet rock star lifestyle because he's actually an ex-rock star who partied so hard, did the whole sex, drugs, rock and roll so hard that he had a heart attack when he was 20 or 21 years old, and kind of found Tony Robbins and the whole person got on the personal development train, got into Robert Kiyosaki and started turning his life around, and started something like 10 or 15 businesses and failed miserably at all of them. Finally started, I think it was a landscaping business that took off, and all of that was because of the marketing chops that he started to learn and realized it wasn't about how well he trimmed the lawn, but how well he was able to market and get customers consistently. So there's that whole book called Predictable Revenue, and Mitch learned how to do that. More notably, Mitch has become one of the most sought after conversion experts by way of copy, funnel building. He's worked with some huge names. He's helped Internet Marketing Party behind the scenes on some things, and I'm forever grateful to you, Mitch. So thank you very much for agreeing to fly in all the way. How long of a flight is that going to be? Over 20 hours or something?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. I don't book them. I don't even want to see. My assistant books it. Usually it's like, if you get a good one, it's like 21, 22 hours.
Yeah. So did I miss anything in your introduction of how you got from where you were to where you are?
No, I mean, it was about 9 businesses.
Okay. So not 15.
I mean,
Sorry.
150 business ideas, but 9 businesses, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you might want to look at your phone over here because it looks like you're looking like that. Just, hey, there you
Oh,
are.
really?
Yeah, yeah, we're
Gotcha.
over here. So he
I'm
just
like blind. Yeah.
he just
Hey, guys.
he just makes millionaires. He doesn't know all about this technology stuff. Uh, so anyway, Mitch, tell everybody what you're going to share when you fly into town from Southeast Asia to Austin, Texas.
Okay, so as internet marketers, I say there's nothing more important than getting the copy right. Now, it doesn't matter if that copy comes out of your mouth or it's subtitled on a video or if it's an old school sales letter.
Yeah.
The words and the structure of those words that create a conversion is huge. It's critical. But the problem is most people miss the mark. And when somebody's on the mark, like you see a Facebook comment, you're like, dude, that guy dropped the mic, or that guy's perfectly on point. And you know it when you see it, but you don't quite know what it means all the time. So it's like most people in their copy completely misses the mark, and it doesn't go well because we know that how many good copywriters are there truly in the world. There's such a few of them, and you wonder why. And I always wondered why myself, because I always kind of got it naturally. But why does it always seem to miss the mark? Something so important like that, why do people get wrong? And so it's hard to teach. People who are good at copy, it's hard to teach because it's a huge can of worms. It's also not the sexiest thing in the world to teach. People don't really want to. They don't want to go down that route, even though it's the most important thing. So my job is like, how can I make that exciting, right? So I feel that most people are off the mark because they don't understand that it's like marketing in general is all about who you're talking to and knowing about who you're talking to. So it's all about like marketing secrets as far as buyer psychology goes. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about is like buyer psychology, because if you can get the market research and the buyer psychology right and just know those few things, then the copy writes itself. You don't even have to be a good writer. The copy just writes itself, because the truth is it doesn't matter really it doesn't matter how you say it as much as what you're saying, because there's so many different copy styles. There's so many copy of salesmanship in print usually, but I call it salesmanship now because I can consider this copy. But you look at like people who are like salesmen, door-to-door salesmen, 80 years old, 60 years old. You got like all sorts of different ages of salesmen in all different industries and all different walks of life. They all have their own personalities and they all do it differently, but it still works if they're good. The reason is because they know what to say. But in copywriting and internet marketers, they're all concerned about how you say it. They're copying these sales letters by hand, and they're regurgitating all the stuff that, they've seen, and it's missing the mark because they don't got the what. And so that's what I'm going to be teaching, the what. And
sounds like you're basically referencing the principles of what makes good copy, as opposed to just learning to copy good copywriting.
I'd say so. And I think it's the principles that people just don't quite get. It's all the reframes people don't quite get, because for some reason, if the principles, I think they're just not explained to people properly usually, because they don't quite get it. Like, for example, we're going to do market research. The first thing you got to do is know who the hell you're talking to, right? So if you're going to know who you're talking to, you need to start doing market research. So where do people go? They go to demographics and psychographics. What podcasts do they listen to? Do they listen to Joe Rogan? What magazines do they listen to? Where do they shop? What's their favorite kind of credit card? What car would they drive? And they do all this stuff to try to get a picture or a glimpse of that perfect avatar or that perfect person. But what that only does is that's only surface deep, because what getting a picture of that is good, and you want to do that, but that will only get you in the door as far as rapport, comfort, and trust. It'll help them get more comfortable with you, to trust you, to give them a sales message. But those aren't the things that's, knowing what car they're driving, going to get the money out of their pocket. And so the things that actually get the money out of the pocket are universal. And this is interesting, is because everybody has trouble with the avatar, trouble with the market research, trouble with the copy, yet right under your nose, the things that actually get the money out of the pocket are universal, but everyone's looking for the individual things, but those aren't really the things that are doing it. So.
Wow. Right. I get it. And so you're going to share at the party, what are the things that are doing it?
I'm going to share those universals. Like, for example, one of them, one of them is simply, someone will buy something to prove somebody wrong. Now, whether that person is a family member or a friend or a dead family member, a lot of people want to prove their deceased father's wrong, that they can still do. There's a lot of people that pushing on that in the copy, not directly, but sensitively, or kind of alluding to that. Those are the kind of things that create those waves of emotion, and that's linked to your product, that will get somebody to buy, because those are the real reasons somebody buys, and they're not usually that sexy or that glamorous, right? So another thing is the idea of, most people have the idea of trust backwards. So for example, here's a universal thing. They say the 3 reasons someone doesn't buy from you is they either don't have the money, they don't want it, or they don't trust and like you. They don't believe you. Right? And that's fair. Those things are all fair. But I believe there's a 4th one, and it's more important than the rest, because the truth is, someone who doesn't have the money, that's not actually true. If you took their kid and then kidnapped them and then tried to get ransom money, they'd come up with the money because they value the child so much. So I think that's on you as a salesman to be able to relay that value, because if my father, every time I come home for Christmas, he's broke, but he now has a new motorcycle, or he has the Oculus Rift VR. I'm like, dude, how do you do this, dude? You have no money. How are you doing that? Because people will find the money for the things they truly want. And so that's not an issue. Not wanting the product, that's your issue as a marketer. Don't put it in front of those type of people. You should only put it in front of people who want it. But so my point is that you're really left with will they don't believe me or trust me or like me, and they don't trust me. Now, here's what's interesting. I believe that there's a 4th one that's more powerful and more important than that one, and that's they don't trust themselves. And so what you see, take for example, weight loss. You see somebody, if you're going to sell a weight loss product in the internet marketing niche,
perfect sense.
And people are sitting there and they're like, no, our product's good. I'm credible. I'm this, I'm that. And they're trying to prove so hard that they're trustworthy so that the person will buy, when in reality, all they have to do is convince that person to trust themselves that this time is the time it's going to, because the truth is, people want to believe. They'll believe you so quick, your head will spin. That's why people fall for scams every day, because they want to believe in the dream. They want to believe in all that stuff. Right? They'll believe you in a heartbeat, but they don't believe themselves to follow through. So prop people up instead. So it's people have the trust quotient backwards. They're trying to get trust from the thing. No, give trust and empower the person to buy. So it's these kind of different like reframes or universal kind of principles of buyer psychology that I'm going to talk about at the
Right, I
event.
love it, and these are things I had never. I mean, they're. I remember when I was in college, and I had a student, a fellow student that was in a psychology class at the University of Texas that said, he challenged the professor. He's like, "What's the big deal with this Freud guy?" He's like, he's saying stuff that's so common sense, and I'll never forget the professor was like, "Yeah, it takes genius to make the complex simple, so simple that when you hear it, you're like, of course that's the case." So some of the things you're talking about, I'm like, oh yeah, like I've been involved in marketing and sales for years and years, and read probably
Yes.
every book on selling and done a lot of research and reading and learning on copy, and I'd never heard anybody make those two distinctions. And it sounds like you've got a handful of those that you're going to share at the party.
I got hundreds because the truth is they're seriously just they're universal basic truths that we all know deep down. That's why when you hear them, you go, ah, yes. But the thing is, it's rare that people take the time to explain them in a new way so that they finally hit and that clarity of it hitting the mark. And that's what I believe copy is. Come full circle from the first thing I said, copy is critical. I believe copy is clarity, and it's
Yeah.
being able to hit the nail on the head so that the buyer goes, yep, that's for me. I get it, like, clearly.
Love it, love it. So for somebody who's watching this that's either really good at copy or somebody who thinks that, oh, I'll just hire a good copywriter, that's, thinking to themselves, well, I don't know if I'll come to this one. What would you say to that person?
Well, someone who's already really good at copy is probably a lifelong student, and you're going to want to get these new different reframes. But and also for the person who says they're just going to hire a copywriter, good, that you should. If you're not a natural born writer, you should be hiring that out. But the problem is, if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't even know if the person's good, or if they're good and they just gave you a bad sales letter. So you need to know the universal truth of what pulls the money out of the pocket, so you know if a copywriter just ripped you off or not.
Love it, love it. So the last thing that's on my mind here is what, like, I feel like I should have asked this at the very beginning, but what's been your biggest success with using these principles?
Um, well, to be honest, just getting me from homeless in 2008, or just completely useless as a person, and being able to take the principles of copy and persuasion and use them on myself for my own self-talk to completely transform who I am at a core level. That's number one. But number two, there's a couple. The first one the one that feels the best was the first big win we had for a client years ago, which was we helped them go from $178,000 a month online, which is, nobody's going to cry for them, but they went from 178K a month to 1.6 million a month in 4 months. We got them up to that point through copy, and then it was 1 month later, we helped somebody else. His name is Matt Morris, actually, a great guy. Help him. We created a sales letter for him and a funnel that they were able to spend $2,000 a day on traffic and be profitable on a front end $97 product to newbies, just due to the sheer conversions. But then just 2 weeks ago here over Christmas, we wrote a webinar script for some friends, and they ended up doing 201 grand in three hours or something, like 3 hours and 10 minutes. And then they ended up doing 1.2 million in 13 days. Now I know, like, some of the people you've had on your
Oh, yeah.
your party here are absolute, like, beasts and would kick those numbers out the door. But for me, I mean, it just feels good to keep improving.
Oh yeah, yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, those numbers are ideal for I'd say about 60% of the folks that tend to come to the party are people that are still trying to figure things out, like, or they're not yet making over 100 to 2 or 300,000 a year. They're people that they're students that just and you and I both know when you helped me with that funnel on the membership site. I think I remember at one point saying, like, man, how is anybody successful at this stuff? There's so many bells and whistles and knobs to turn, and from
Yeah.
copy to funnel building to media buying to all the weird, it's crazy that anybody's successful, because it takes not only persistence, it takes bullheaded stubbornness, and it also takes attention to detail. It takes
Delusion.
it takes delusion. It takes this nuance and this of understanding human psychology. There's so much that goes into being successful that I really think that you're going to be so good for everybody from the rank beginner all the way to the seasoned grizzled veteran. So I really appreciate you taking the time, agreeing to come and speak at our event, and flying in all the way from around the world. You've got tons and tons of fans on social media. As soon as I said, "Hey, guess who's flying in from Thailand?" people started guessing, and 3 or 4 people hit it right off the mark. It was like the one and only Mitch Miller. So I'm stoked.
That's crazy.
I know one of your partners is Mike Kemsky, who lives right up the road, or 3 hours up the road, and in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So he'll be hopefully coming into town as well, and bringing in the whole clan. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be great networking. Yeah. Most importantly, you'll be learning some of the basic, powerful principles spun in a new way that'll take your conversions through the roof. So thanks, Mitch. I appreciate you. Everybody go to internetmarketingparty.com/Austin to get your tickets, and that'll be on Thursday, February let me see here real quick if I can. I should have had the date in front of me, but I didn't. Yeah, it'll be February the 8th. So anyway, with that, thanks, Mitch. Any parting words?
Thanks. Well, hey, listen, you guys, online business, no matter where you want to take it, it all starts here. It starts with the research. It starts with the copy. It starts with the market. So start here and the fundamentals. You got to dribble the ball before you go for the alley-oop.
You just made me think of something. My business partner Gonzalo has this saying. Well, he basically repeats Dan Kennedy, who says people only complain. A lot of times people spend thousands and thousands of dollars making a pretty website that doesn't convert. They can't get They can't afford to get traffic to it because it doesn't convert. People say, "Oh, I need more traffic." You don't need more traffic, because as Dan Kennedy likes to say, people only complain about your design or your aesthetic when the copy sucks, or when the content sucks rather. If I told you that I had the next 3 weeks worth of Bitcoin fluctuations, but it was written on a crumbled up piece of paper like this, how much would you pay for this paper, for this information right here?
All the money in the world, baby.
Right? Exactly. As opposed to if it looks like this. But all it has the last 3 weeks worth of crypto details in it. I don't want to pay anything for this because I can get it for free online. So anyway,
it's so true.
I think that's a great way of making sure that anybody that's on the fence about whether or not you should come see Mitch, dude, come get this inside of this. How about that?
We're giving those away on stage. You can win the artifacts from this interview.
Yeah. All right. So with that in mind, thanks everybody for watching. We will see you on Thursday, February the 8th in Austin, Texas with the one and only Mitch Miller. See you on the inside.